Sign 1. Her energy shifts before her story does. Cheating doesn't always start with obvious lies or missing hours. It begins with energy. Before her story changes, before her excuses become sloppy, her vibe around you shifts. You'll feel it before you can logically explain it, and that's exactly why most men miss it. When she's loyal, her energy flows toward you naturally. She laughs easily. She engages in conversation. She's present when you're together. But when another man enters the picture, her emotional rhythm changes. She may not even realize it, but her body language, tone, and timing start to betray her. Pay attention to the subtle cues. She's more distracted around you, like her mind is elsewhere. She laughs at her phone but doesn't share what's so funny. She seems restless in your presence, even when you're doing things you both used to enjoy. What's happening here? It's called emotional displacement. Psychologists explain that when a person invests emotional energy in someone new, they unconsciously pull back from their current partner. She doesn't intend to give you less, but she does, because now her emotional hunger is being fed somewhere else. This is why men often describe it as a gut feeling. You can't prove it yet, but something feels off. And here's the painful part. When you ask her about it, she'll likely dismiss you. She'll say she's tired, stressed, or just in a mood. But her energy tells the real story. The Stoic man doesn't argue with energy. He observes it. He trusts his instincts while waiting for actions to align. Because when her energy shifts, it's only a matter of time before her story does. Sign 2. She guards her phone like it's a secret lover. The phone never lies. When a woman is faithful, her phone is casual. She'll leave it on the table, screen up. She'll scroll in front of you, laugh at texts, even show you things she finds funny. But when she's hiding something, her relationship with her phone changes overnight. Suddenly, it's no longer a tool. It's a vault. Watch for the shift. She flips her phone screen down when you're near. She takes calls in another room. She suddenly adds a new password or gets jumpy when you even glance in its direction. The more she protects her phone, the more you should be asking, what is she protecting? This isn't paranoia. It's psychology. An unfaithful woman knows the phone is the crime scene. Every flirty text, every late-night DM, every secret photo exchange. It all lives there. And because she knows it's the one thing that could expose her, she guards it like her life depends on it. Here's the trap. When you question her, she'll flip it back on you. She'll accuse you of being controlling, insecure, or untrusting. But notice the irony. If she had nothing to hide, there would be no reason to defend the secrecy so aggressively. A loyal woman doesn't need to hide her phone. Sure, she values privacy, but privacy and secrecy are not the same. Privacy is natural, secrecy is forced, and secrecy is always a red flag. The Stoic response isn't to beg for access to her phone. That's a losing game. The response is to notice, detach, and let the behavior speak louder than her excuses. Because if her phone has become the other man, you don't need to read the messages. You're already living in the proof. Sign 3. She suddenly becomes overly sweet and affectionate. Ironically, one of the clearest signs that she's seeing someone else isn't coldness, it's warmth. Many unfaithful women overcompensate by becoming more affectionate, more attentive, more perfect than usual. And if you're not paying attention, you might mistake this shift for love, when in reality, it's guilt dressed as affection. Here's why this happens. Psychologists call it guilt-driven overcompensation. When someone knows they're betraying you, their conscience nags at them. They feel the sting of hypocrisy. So, to soothe their own guilt, they shower you with kindness. They think, if I'm extra sweet, maybe he won't notice. Maybe it will cancel out what I'm doing. Notice the sudden changes. She gives you unexpected compliments, especially after being distant. She buys you gifts just because. even though that wasn't her pattern before. She becomes unusually affectionate in public, as if to prove to the world and herself that everything is fine. At first, this feels good. You might think, finally, she's showing me the attention I deserve. But the Stoic man doesn't take things at face value. He looks at patterns. If her affection appears out of nowhere, especially alongside other suspicious behaviors, it's not romance, it's a cover-up. This sweetness phase never lasts. It fades as soon as her guilt fades, or as soon as she feels secure that you're not suspicious. That's why you must read it for what it is. Because while most men get blinded by sudden affection, the wise man sees the hidden guilt dripping through every smile. Sign 4. She avoids intimacy with you. On the other side of the spectrum is the more obvious shift, when she begins withdrawing physically. And this isn't just about sex, it's about the small touches, the casual affection, the intimacy of being close. A woman who is emotionally invested elsewhere often struggles to connect physically with you. Why? Because intimacy requires desire and presence. And if her desire is being fed by another man, her body will naturally recoil from giving that energy to you. Watch for these signs. She dodges your attempts to be affectionate. She makes excuses, headaches, being tired, being stressed, on a regular basis. When you are intimate, it feels mechanical, forced, or rushed, without the warmth it once had. This isn't always about another man. It can sometimes be stress or personal struggles. But when combined with other red flags, it's a powerful indicator. Psychologists describe this as emotional redirection. Her mind and heart are elsewhere, and her body follows. Here's the brutal truth. Women are wired to crave novelty. When they're excited by someone new, their chemistry changes. Dopamine and oxytocin, the bonding hormones, shift toward the new partner. That makes intimacy with you feel dull, even draining. Most men respond by begging, pressuring, or trying to win her back with more effort. But that only pushes her further away. The Stoic man, however, doesn't chase intimacy where it's no longer offered. He reads the withdrawal as a symptom of something deeper, and instead of pleading, he steps back, observing, holding frame. Because here's the truth. When her intimacy dries up without clear reason, it's not just her body pulling away, it's her loyalty. Sign 5. She picks fights over nothing. When a woman is faithful, small disagreements stay small. But when she's emotionally invested in another man, her tolerance for you drops, and she begins manufacturing conflict. Tiny issues suddenly explode into arguments. Innocent questions turn into accusations. Everyday interactions become battlefields. Why? Psychologists call this conflict justification. Deep down, she knows she's betraying you. That guilt creates tension. To resolve it, she subconsciously looks for reasons to paint you as the problem. If she convinces herself you're annoying, controlling, or inattentive, it makes her betrayal feel more justified. Notice the patterns. She gets irritated at things she used to ignore. She accuses you of flaws that suddenly matter, though they never did before. She twists neutral conversations into fights, then storms off, leaving you feeling confused. These fights aren't about you leaving the dishes undone or forgetting a detail. Those are excuses. The real motive is projection. She's redirecting her guilt onto you, so she doesn't feel like the bad one. Most men fall into the trap of defending themselves endlessly, trying to fix what doesn't need fixing. But the Stoic man doesn't wrestle in mud. He recognizes the sudden surge of pointless fights as what it is, a sign her loyalty is drifting. The brutal truth? If she's picking constant fights, it's not because she stopped caring about little things. It's because she started caring about someone else. Sign 6. She talks about the future, without you in it. When a woman is truly with you, her language about the future includes you naturally. She says we instead of I. She plans trips, talks about goals, includes you in her vision of tomorrow. But when she's seeing someone else, something subtle changes. Her future no longer has your shadow in it. Listen carefully. She stops using we. She starts saying things like, next summer I might move, or I've been thinking about what I want long term. She makes plans without consulting you, as if you're not part of the equation anymore. That linguistic shift is small, but devastating. Psychologists describe this as future distancing. It's the process of emotionally preparing to detach by removing you from her long-term vision. And if another man is already in the picture, her fantasies about the future are quietly being rewritten, with him in your place. You'll also notice her excitement changes. She might talk about work, hobbies, or adventures, but when you ask where you fit in, she gets vague. She avoids commitment, avoids clarity, avoids putting your name next to hers in the map of tomorrow.